Have you ever experienced that unmistakable moment when your entire being signaled a truth that defied logical explanation? That instant when something deep within whispered danger or proceed against all external evidence. Throughout history, from the oracle at Delphi to the I Ching divination system, humanity has sought external guidance. Yet what the great mystical traditions have always taught is that the most profound oracle isn't found in temples or sacred sites. It resides within you, waiting to be awakened. Today, as we navigate cosmic energies that ancient traditions would recognize as auspicious for inner revelation, you will discover how to access this dormant wisdom. By the end of this exploration, you will possess sacred techniques to hear your inner oracle with unprecedented clarity. Ancient practices preserved through esoteric lineages, but available to those ready to receive them. We will journey through the cosmic landscape of your inner knowing, the sacred languages through which your oracle communicates, the veils that obscure your divine perception, and how to honor your inner voice, even amidst chaos and uncertainty. Before going further, let's start with affirmation. If this resonates, please share in the comments and feel free to modify. My inner oracle speaks with clarity, and I am ready to listen. Now let's begin with our first section, the nature of your inner oracle. The inner oracle, what the ancient Greeks called the voice of the daemon, and Hindus name Antaratman, exists as the bridge between individual consciousness and universal intelligence. Throughout history, this intuitive knowing has altered the course of civilizations and revealed mysteries beyond ordinary perception. Consider the recorded accounts of Joan of Arc, who followed divine guidance to alter the destiny of France, or the documented revelations of Nikola Tesla, who attributed his scientific breakthroughs to insights received in states of expanded awareness. These weren't anomalies with special gifts. They were humans who cultivated awareness of what dwells within all beings. The distinction between ordinary thought and oracular wisdom lies in its quality and origin. Sacred texts across traditions describe this difference. While the thinking mind is reactive, analytical, and often fear-based, intuitive knowing emerges with quiet certainty, what Quakers call the still small voice that requires no justification. The mind questions and debates. The oracle simply knows. This divine guidance system communicates through multiple sacred channels that ancient traditions have mapped with remarkable precision. The body serves as the primary temple of intuition, what the Taoists call the wisdom of the bones. The sensation commonly referred to as a gut feeling reflects a profound neurological reality. The enteric nervous system contains over 100 million neurons that process information independently from the brain. When unexplainable sensations arise, a flutter in the solar plexus, a warmth in the heart center, a coolness along the spine, it isn't mere emotion, but intelligence, communicating through the physical form in ways recognized by healing traditions for millennia. Intuitive revelations arrive with immediacy, what mystical traditions call direct knowing. These aren't thoughts built through logical progression, but complete insights that arise fully formed in consciousness. The Zen tradition refers to this as satori, sudden illumination that transcends analytical thinking. When complete understanding arrives without mental construction, when solutions appear without calculation, the oracle speaks directly to awareness. Dreams and symbols emerge from what ancient Egypt called the house of the soul, and Jung termed the collective unconscious. The Asclepian temples of ancient Greece used dream incubation as a primary method of divine healing and guidance. Throughout time, initiatory traditions worldwide have recognized that when the analytical mind rests, the deeper mind communicates through a symbolic language older than words. These aren't psychological curiosities, but sacred messages encoded in universal archetypes, synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, reflect what indigenous wisdom traditions understand as the responsive nature of reality itself. The Hopi concept of Koyaanisqatsi recognizes how the external world rearranges itself to communicate with human consciousness. When specific themes, numbers, or references repeatedly manifest, when exactly the right person or information appears precisely when needed, it isn't random chance, but the fabric of reality itself delivering guidance. Every wisdom tradition acknowledges this inner knowing through different conceptual frameworks. The Delphic oracle channeled Apollo's wisdom. Taoist sages accessed the Tao through inner stillness. Yogic masters perceived antajnana, inner knowing, and shamanic traditions worldwide accessed non-ordinary reality for divine communion. What these traditions collectively understood is that the cosmos itself communicates directly through human awareness for those who learn to listen. The sacred language of your inner oracle. Your inner oracle communicates through a language more ancient than words, a sacred dialogue that has existed since humans first looked to the stars for meaning. This isn't merely intuition, as modern psychology describes it, but a profound connection to what the Vedic tradition calls ritam, the cosmic order and truth that flows through all things. This wisdom system speaks through layers of consciousness, each with its own divine signature. The ancient Egyptian priesthood understood this when they practiced Heka, a system of aligning with divine communication that recognized different channels of knowing. The first language of your oracle is bodily wisdom, what the Japanese Shinto tradition calls kanagara, or the body's natural alignment with divine flow. When the physical vessel responds with subtle sensations, a warming in the heart center, a cooling along the spine, a sudden alertness in the solar plexus, it's communicating in its primal tongue. These aren't random physiological events, but what ancient Chinese medicine identified as qi, moving through meridian systems in response to truth or falsehood. There are countless accounts throughout history of individuals who honored these bodily messages. One documented case involves a Taoist practitioner who was considering a significant business partnership. On paper, the opportunity seemed ideal, but during meditation, a persistent constriction appeared in the throat chakra, what yogic tradition calls Vishuddha, the center of truth speaking. This bodily wisdom prevented involvement with a partner who was later discovered to have a history of suppressing others' contributions. The body had perceived what the mind could not see. The second sacred language is symbolic communication, what Carl Jung termed the collective unconscious, but ancient cultures recognized as messages from the divine realm. The Aboriginal Dreamtime tradition understands that symbols carry energetic imprints that bypass the logical mind to deliver deeper truths. These symbols appear in dreams, visions, and meditative states, not as random mental images, but as hieroglyphs of the soul's understanding. When the same symbol repeatedly appears, whether a specific animal, element, or geometric pattern, it's not coincidence, but communion with deeper knowing. Historical records show how these symbolic messages have guided humanity's greatest discoveries. The spiral pattern, sacred in numerous ancient traditions, appeared repeatedly to a renowned historian during scholarly research. Rather than dismissing these as pattern-seeking, deeper investigation into Celtic spiral symbolism eventually revealed a previously unknown connection in ancient migration patterns, transforming archaeological understanding. The symbol itself had become the key that unlocked hidden knowledge. The third divine language is energetic resonance, what quantum physics now validates, but ancient mystery schools taught as sympathetic vibration. When one feels inexplicably drawn toward or repelled from a person, place, or choice, they're experiencing what the ancient kahuna tradition of Hawaii called mana alignment, the energy field, recognizing harmony or discord with another field. Consider this universal truth found across traditions. The Sufi mystics spoke of qalb, the intelligence of the heart that knows before the mind understands. Indigenous shamanic traditions worked with spirit songs that would become internally audible when aligned with truth. The Greek oracle at Delphi accessed pneuma, divine breath or inspiration, that rose from the earth through her body to deliver prophecies that shaped civilizations. The fourth language is synchronistic communication, what the Tibetan Buddhists call tendril, meaningful coincidences that reveal the interconnected nature of reality. The I Ching, one of humanity's oldest oracular systems, is founded on the principle that external patterns mirror internal realities. When someone repeatedly encounters specific numbers, names, or references, it's not random, but what the ancient Kabbalists called kavana, divine intention manifesting through apparent coincidence. These patterns aren't psychological curiosities, but cosmic signposts guiding the journey. Sacred texts record how a renowned musician once contemplated abandoning an artistic path for financial security. During this period of doubt, 3 strangers in different countries, without prompting, spoke of how this specific style of music had transformed their understanding of important life experiences. These coincidences weren't random, but what the ancient Greeks called kairos, divinely appointed moments revealing a larger purpose. The universe itself had orchestrated confirmation of the path. The fifth, and perhaps most profound language, is the silence between thoughts, what Zen Buddhists call mu, or emptiness, where the purest guidance resides. In ancient temple traditions across cultures, initiates were taught to access the pregnant void where true wisdom emerges. This silence isn't an absence, but a presence, a clear field where knowing arises without mental construction. The Upanishads describe this as neti neti, not this, a state beyond conceptual understanding where direct knowledge is received. Mystics throughout the ages have entered this silence to receive revelations that transformed human understanding. It was in this space that Hildegard of Bingen received her divine visions, that Buddha attained enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree, that prophets of numerous traditions heard the voice of the divine. This space of sacred silence remains accessible to all who learn to quiet the mind and listen with the heart. Understanding these sacred languages requires remembering what ancient traditions across cultures have always known. Human beings are not separate from the divine intelligence that moves through all things. The inner oracle isn't a mystical concept, but a birthright, the natural communion between individual consciousness and the universal intelligence from which it arises. As one learns to recognize these different sacred tongues, they discover these languages aren't speaking separately, but in harmony, a divine symphony of guidance that has been playing since before birth, patiently waiting for conscious attention. Veils obscuring the inner oracle. If this divine guidance system is humanity's birthright, why do so many walk through life disconnected from their inner wisdom? Ancient mystery traditions worldwide recognize that certain veils obscure the oracle's voice, not as punishment, but as part of the soul's journey toward conscious awakening. These veils aren't permanent barriers, but initiatory challenges that, when understood, become gateways to deeper perception. The Hermetic traditions spoke of piercing the veils of Maya to access higher truth, while Gnostic teachings described removing the blindfold to perceive divine reality. The first veil is what Buddhist teachings call dukkha, the noise of the world, and Vedic wisdom names pramada, distraction. In contemporary existence, this manifests as perpetual external stimulation and digital immersion. Sacred texts across traditions emphasize the necessity of silence for divine communion, from the Judaic practice of hitbodedut, contemplative solitude, to the Christian Desert Fathers' retreat into stillness. The inner oracle cannot be heard amid constant noise. Its voice emerges only when external clamor subsides. Documented accounts from contemplative monasteries worldwide confirm that initiates who enter extended silence universally report heightened intuitive perception. Studies of modern practitioners who undertake digital fasts show measurable increases in insight, creativity, and decision-making clarity. The oracle hasn't disappeared. It awaits in silence. The second veil is what the Toltec tradition calls mitote, the fog of the mind, and Greek philosophy termed doxa, unexamined opinion. This manifests as culturally inherited beliefs that dismiss inner knowing as unreliable or primitive compared to rational analysis. Educational systems worldwide reinforce this skepticism toward intuitive wisdom, creating internal doubt that questions divine guidance even when it clearly manifests. Historical analysis reveals that this devaluation of intuitive knowing correlates directly with the suppression of wisdom traditions and the rise of mechanistic worldviews. The resulting cultural bias becomes internalized as what depth psychology identifies as the inner critic that dismisses intuitive messages before they can register in conscious awareness. The third veil is what Taoist philosophy identifies as attachment to outcome, and Buddhist teaching names tanha, craving. When desire for specific results becomes paramount, the clarity of inner perception distorts. This isn't about abandoning preferences, but recognizing how attachment creates what the yogic tradition calls vritti, thought waves, that disturb the clear surface of consciousness where truth reflects. Contemplative biographies consistently reveal that the most profound guidance emerges when practitioners enter states of surrender, what Sufism calls taslim, and Christianity names "Thy will be done." This release of predetermined outcomes creates receptivity to what emerges from deeper wisdom, often revealing possibilities beyond what the limited self could envision. The fourth veil is what indigenous wisdom traditions identify as disconnection from the body's wisdom, and what somatic psychology terms dissociation. Modern existence increasingly prioritizes cerebral functions, while treating the body as merely mechanical transportation rather than an intelligent sensing instrument. This mind-body division, unknown in ancient wisdom traditions, severs access to the oracle's most immediate channel of communication. Anthropological studies across cultures reveal that traditions maintaining embodied awareness practices universally report higher intuitive sensitivity. From Qigong's subtle energy perception to the African Dagara tradition's body divination, these practices maintain what modern neuroscience now confirms. The body processes information and holds wisdom independently from cerebral analysis. The fifth veil is what mystical traditions call spiritual pride, and contemplative paths identify as the seeker's trap. This manifests as the belief that divine guidance must arrive through extraordinary means, dramatic visions, overwhelming feelings, or spectacular signs, rather than through subtle, everyday communication. This expectation of grandiosity causes many to overlook the oracle's consistent whisper in search of dramatic pronouncements. Historical spiritual accounts consistently emphasize that the most profound guidance often arrives through the most ordinary channels, what Zen Buddhism calls chopping wood, carrying water, and Christian mysticism names the sacrament of the present moment. The oracle speaks not only in ecstatic revelation, but through the quiet promptings of daily life for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. Understanding these veils isn't cause for despair, but illumination. Each obstacle reveals its own dissolution. Creating silence dissolves distraction. Questioning cultural conditioning dispels doubt. Releasing attachment clears perception. Returning to embodiment restores somatic wisdom. And embracing ordinary awareness reveals extraordinary guidance, hiding in plain sight. Your inner oracle, what mystical traditions worldwide recognize as the divine voice within, has never ceased its communication, though its whispers may have been temporarily obscured by what spiritual traditions call the veil of forgetting. It speaks through bodily wisdom, intuitive knowing, symbolic messages, and synchronistic events, a guidance system as natural as breath, yet often overlooked in an externally focused world. Remember that authentic guidance doesn't emerge from fear or attachment, but from what mystical traditions call the clear light of being. It won't always align with preferences or external expectations, but it will consistently lead toward what depth psychology terms individuation, the soul's authentic expression and highest evolution. In a world of unprecedented external noise and contradictory advice, perhaps the most revolutionary act is turning inward, not to escape reality, but to access what wisdom traditions call the perennial philosophy that helps navigate existence with greater awareness. Your inner oracle offers not merely answers, but what Buddhist tradition calls right relationship to the unfolding mystery of existence. The ancient temple inscriptions at Delphi proclaimed, "Know thyself," not as intellectual exercise, but as recognition that divine wisdom speaks directly through human consciousness when properly attuned. Your inner oracle has never stopped its communication. The eternal question remains, are you listening? As the current astrological alignments create what ancient traditions would recognize as an auspicious gateway, consider engaging just one of the practices we'll explore in our next video. Notice what shifts when you create deliberate sacred space for inner communion. If you've received value from this guidance, consider subscribing and sharing with those who might benefit from awakening their own inner oracle. Until our paths cross again, may you trust the divine wisdom that already dwells within you.